Since 1990, the average physical therapy salary in 1990 was $55,000, and all physical therapists had a bachelor's degree in 1990. Our lovely APTA decided to make us all into doctors, which is great. More education's always good. But what they did was promise us a bunch of things that still haven't come true 30 years later, right? So the APTA promised all doctors of physical therapy would have autonomy. There's literally 0 states in the country where we have full autonomy. There's technically 20 states where we have direct access. If you're taking cash, it's direct access. In those 20 states that say they have direct access, if you were taking insurance, which 99% of physical therapists do, it's not direct access, right? You have direct access for like 10 days or 30 days. And then after that, you can still have direct access if you like working for free, right? Because insurance isn't going to pay for it unless you have a doctor's note. So absolute disaster area as far as our accessibility to patients has actually gone down, and our pay compared to 1990 is less. So just think about this for a second, you guys. In 1990, the average physical therapy salary per the government was $55,000. If you put $55,000 in the government calculator and all it does is adjust for inflation, $55,000 in 1990 is worth $130,000 today. So if physical therapists still practice with the doctor or still practice with a bachelor's degree, which we don't, in 2016, every single PT school was a doctor program. So as doctors of physical therapy with twice as much education, the cost of school since 1990 has gone up about 1,500%, right? Our time of schooling has doubled, and we're getting paid on average $30,000 less per year than we were making in 1990. The average physical therapy salary per the government in 2023 is $99,000. Which is a total lie, because I don't know any physical therapists who are making $99,000 unless they have their own cash-based business. So if you like being an indentured servant, continue to follow the APTA and pay the APTA to destroy our profession and work for somebody else. That's the unfortunate fact of the situation right now, right? The only way to have a successful financial business in physical therapy is to do cash or to do fraud every single day, period, end of story. There's no other option, right? So what I really wanted to do with this class was, number one, give people the information that is out there that they need to help their patients as much as possible. Number two, I would love more and more physical therapists to use this information to start their own cash pay businesses, because it's the only path to financial success that you're going to have. And most people hate working for other physical therapy companies because you just get treated like a piece of trash. You're just a number. All they want you to is to run through as many units per day as you can. And it's just not a good way to treat people, right? You don't have enough time with the patient. You don't have time to do any type of like skilled treatment. And the vast majority of physical therapists out there, all they do is exercise, right? And exercise, I'm sorry, you guys, that's not a skilled treatment in physical therapy, right? Most personal trainers are better than physical therapists at exercise, and it's far less expensive for patients to go and get a personal trainer for better exercise instruction, and it's less expensive for them, right? So as doctors of physical therapy, watching people exercise is not a good thing to do, right? It's the least skilled, least helpful thing we can do for patients. And again, we'll get into that in a little bit as we get into this class, right? We'll go through the pictures here again, get through those. All right, you guys, so the role of nutrition, supplementation, and the epigenome in medicine, right? So as we briefly discussed, it's very, very important. It's absolutely vital to have a working, comprehensive knowledge of why taking supplements and vitamins and stuff like that is helpful. One of the things that I've found with my patients over the years is that if you can't explain to them in an understandable way why you're telling them things or the reason that they should do things, if they don't understand the reason behind it, the likelihood that they're going to continue with that is next to zero. And we know this from years and years of research that show that most physical therapy patients, the vast majority, do not do not do their home exercise programs. And one of the reasons behind that is that we're not good enough at explaining to people why exercise is good or why eating is good, right? If people understand the why behind it, they're much more likely to follow instructions and they're much more likely to get better health outcomes, right? So one of the things that I highly recommend to all the physical therapists that I teach is finding a good functional medicine doctor and developing a good relationship with them, right? So functional medicine doctors, if you guys aren't aware, are typically MDs or DOs, right? And all of the stuff that they're utilizing in their day-to-day practice is stuff that they have learned out of after medical school, right? So I know lots and lots of people in osteopath school and in medical school right now. And one of the reasons that I made this class is we're just up at Michigan State University teaching their osteopathic residents that were going through their surgical residencies. 0% of them knew anything at all about nutrition. And they actually asked me, they said, can you please make us a nutrition course, because we don't even have a single class throughout our whole curriculum that talks about nutrition. It's like just briefly mentioned in the middle of some class or another, but there's no actual class on nutrition, which is an absolute devastating fact, and it's really, really harming the health of the United States population. So my favorite website to find functional medicine doctors, and those are the only doctors that I go to, you guys. So before we get into that, functional medicine, more or less, is if you fix the gut microbiome and you take out the bad things that you're putting into your body and you put the good things into your body, you basically get rid of most disease, right? And this is just a fact of reality, right? When I lived in South America, I had the chance to visit some of those blue zones. None of those 100-year-old people that were in good health that I met had ever been to the doctor, never took medicine, and they all ate the food that they grew or that they bartered for from their neighbors, right? So we know this stuff works, and it's insane that it's not taught in school, right? So as far as the functional medicine goes, ifm.org has a very, very good certification that is open to physical therapists, and you can get a functional medicine certification as a physical therapist. And this is a very, very good site to get that through. And it also has lists of all the functional medicine doctors in this association, and you can get a hold of some of them. I would recommend going and talking to them and just telling them, you know, how you think about stuff, and see if you can develop a good relationship with them, because the functional medicine doctors are the people that are actually going to be able to test and retest and prescribe specific amounts of specific supplements and food and stuff like that to implement into their diet. So as physical therapists, we can tell people what we do. We can give them all the good background knowledge that they need. We can give them referrals to functional medicine doctors, right? So we have more time with our patients than any other doctor has. So it's vital for us to be knowledgeable about this stuff, because if they don't get this information from somebody, they're never going to get it. So we can be the first line of defense or offense, however you want to look at it, to help people with their diet and nutrition, because people like going to physical therapy a lot of the time, right? They spend a lot of time with us. We have a lot of time to talk to them. So if you can put this stuff in the right way for them, it really, really helps with their compliance with doing what you recommend, what the functional medicine doctor recommends, and it'll improve their health, right? So as we mentioned before, the unfortunate fact of the matter in 2024 is that you cannot get good health care if you're using your health insurance. In 90+% of the time, period, end of story. Surgery would be an exception to that, and you still have to find a good surgeon, right? So remember, you guys, just because people are doctors doesn't mean they're smart, right? Most doctors are bad at what they do. So if you're just putting this up in the wind and hoping that you get somebody that cares about you in the mainstream medical system, you have to be extremely lucky to find a doctor who actually cares about your health, right? The whole system is set up on making money. You give somebody a pill to treat a symptom of their problem, which never has any percentage of any chance to fix the problem, because if you treat the symptoms or if you treat the disease, you're not treating the problem, right? So a big issue in mainstream medicine is you have all of these very, very highly specialized people. And that's not a problem overall, but the problem is that these highly specialized people are treating the same patient for different parts of their body without talking to each other, and all of the problems, again, 90+% of the time, are coming from the same underlying cause, which is chronic sympathetic hyperactivity, secondary to things like lack of exercise, poor diet, poor nutrition, stuff like that, right? So, for example, if your kidney starts malfunctioning, the kidney does not act on itself. Organs in the body don't act on themselves. So when you go to a kidney doctor or a liver doctor, right, they treat the liver or the kidney like that is the problem. That's not the case. Something else is causing the kidney or the liver or any other organ to dysfunction. This is just simply how our body works. So the fact that we're treating people based off of what is actually dysfunctioning and not the reason behind it is a primary reason why 79% of the United States is either overweight, obese, or morbidly obese in 2024, and our lifespan is going down for the first time in the last 100 years, right? So the state of health in the United States is worse than it's ever been before, while our technology and all of that stuff is better than it's ever been before. So there's a massive disconnect here. Something is obviously wrong, and we need to change what we're doing, right? So as far as physical therapists go, you guys, there is zero way to make a good financial living working for somebody else in an insurance-based clinic.